One absent.
All right, thanks, Kathy. If we could all rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Shipley, do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda this evening?
No changes.
Seeing no changes, do we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
We have the motion second. Any discussion by the council? Seeing none, all vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you. Now we have our old business portion of the meeting. Item 2, consider approval of minutes of the special called meeting held May the 3rd and the regular meeting held on May the 6th, 2010. Do we have a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing no comments, I'll vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
And now to the new business portion of our meeting. Item 3, consider approval of audit contract for years ending 2010, 11, and 12. Sponsor, Mr. Mike Davidson.
Mayor and council members, I need to establish a contract with a local CPA firm to handle the audit of the city's financial statements for fiscal year 2010, 11, and 12. Discussed this with Duncan Wheeler Wilkerson. They've handled the audit in the past. They've agreed to conduct the 2010 audit at a fee of $37,000, and the fee, it would be a 3-year contract, and the fee for 2011 and 12 would be $38,000 each year, and I would recommend your approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Davidson. Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have the motion and a second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing no further discussion, all vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Item 4, consider agreement with the Putnam County Highway Department to include water line relocation into the bridge replacement contract. Water Quality Control Department. Sponsor, Mr. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, the Putnam County Highway Department is currently under design to replace, to replace a bridge that crosses the Fallen Water River. During the design process, the county's engineer brought to our attention that the bridge abutments that they're going to construct is going to be in close proximity to our existing water line. The existing 6-inch water line, we obtained it from the Dry Valley Utility District when we took over their district. The county's engineer suggested to us that if we were ever planning to do an upgrade on that section of line, now would be a good time to do that. In reviewing our long-range plan for the area, water line needs to be upgraded to meet the future needs across the Fallen Water River. Size of the line needs to be increased, and we believe that attaching it to the bridge is the best long-term solution. We'd like to incorporate our water line improvements into the bridge project and pay for our share of the cost. Our intent would be to pay for the engineering inspection cost and the inspection cost to design the project. We would put that in separate bid items in their contract and then pay our share of that cost. We believe that the water line improvements will run around $130,000 depending upon the bids, and the engineering inspection will be in the $15,000 to $20,000 range. We've included those costs in our proposed 2011 budget, and we'd recommend your authorizing the city attorney to enter into that agreement with the County Highway Department. And if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kelly. Do we have a motion and a second for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Have our motion second. Any discussion by the council?
That wouldn't be the city attorney to enter into that contract.
No, for the city attorney to, I guess, draft the language for a contract with the Highway Department.
Well, what we'll do, we'll negotiate with the county attorney and present an agreement to the city council to approve.
Okay.
Is what he means.
Okay, well, I guess my intent was for you to authorize us to go ahead and enter into that agreement once we draw it up and not bring it back to you. If you want us to do that, we can bring it back. We're just trying to sort of hurry the process up since they're in the middle of this.
I don't think they can enter into an agreement that doesn't exist.
Okay.
I mean, we have to have an existing agreement for them to approve. They don't know what they're approving. I mean, we approve the concept, but we don't know the cost or the scope and how much the county may or may not want to share, so I think it needs to come back. So the quicker we can negotiate, the better, but
Okay.
we meet every 2 weeks. It can be done.
All right.
So
So the-
How do you want us to,
we need to withdraw the
or just,
motion and second then, don't we?
No,
This was,
the motion to go in, to enter, to make an
yeah.
agreement, but until you actually have a contract, all you're approving is the concept now, not any
To
specific
proceed.
agreement. Right,
right.
yeah, okay.
And then we'll come back and actually approve,
right.
or look to approve the actual agreement. This is consider agreement.
Okay.
So do we need to reword anything, or?
Well, we might want to clarify it for the record, but that, the point is,
Who made the motion? Was it Alma?
I just have approved city attorney to draft language for contract and back to the council for approval.
well, that's probably accurate.
Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So we have our motion and a second on that, and we will be seeing the completed contract hopefully in the next 2 weeks. And I'm assuming that if we had to, we could, I mean, if it becomes a certain matter of urgency, I'm assuming we could have a special call meeting
We can do that.
for that one particular item if they have a sense of urgency, that they can't wait 2 weeks. Any further discussion by the council?
Just a question about this increase in the size of this line, and you are projecting that there will be more development in this area?
Yes, the existing line's a 6-inch. We've already upgraded some of the lines across the river. There's an 8-inch here. You go back under the interstate out towards a hidden hollow area. That whole valley still doesn't have water. So as that becomes available, you're going to need that increased capacity. So we're just going to upsize the line now.
Which, we'll need in the future. Yeah.
Any further discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing no further comments, I'll vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. This time we have our hearing of citizens indoor delegations, but before I open that up, I will turn the floor over to Councilwoman Anderson. I think she has some guests with us today.
The Avery Trace Middle School Student Council is here tonight with us, and they do a lot of the projects at our school and help raise money for various and sundry projects. And this is our end of the year evening. We're going to attend this rather short meeting, which worked out well for us students, and then we're going to walk down to a local restaurant and have dinner. I'd like them all to stand up, and so we can get a good look at them. These are the future leaders of the United States of America.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. And it was great to hear them all say the Pledge of Allegiance. Don't you agree? It was neat.
That was good.
All right, guys, sit down now. Thank you. Such obedient students.
You all certainly came on an evening when we had a short agenda tonight. I don't know if, do they get full credit or is this half? Do they have to come back for another meeting?
We'll give them a pass.
Okay. Any other comments from the council?
I did want to make a comment about the Dogapalooza. I thought that was an interesting event that the Leisure Services put on, and it was fun, and it almost made it all the way through it before the wind and the rain came, but it was interesting to see everybody out there with their dogs, and a fun way to spend the afternoon. When did the concerts in the park start?
The community band concert, the first one will be Memorial Day,
Okay.
Monday night Memorial Day. Citizen Park concerts are every Sunday in June.
Okay.
Very good. Other comments from the council? Any comments from the audience? You can come, we have open meetings here at the end of our meetings. We open up the floor for up to 3 minutes. You can come and present your ideas and concerns about the matters that pertain to the city business, and try to keep Jim Shipley busy and on his toes. But if nobody has any other comments, I will at this time entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Yay. Thank you. That'd be great. Have a great night.